Welcome to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, a land shrouded in mystery. Few outsiders have ever been granted access to this isolated nation, leaving many to wonder about the lives of its people. Today, we journey deep into North Korea, venturing beyond the grand monuments and orchestrated parades to uncover a different reality. Join us as we delve into some of the most unbelievable laws in North Korea, regulations that dictate everything from their communication with the outside world to their very thoughts. In the remote villages and bustling cities of North Korea, a profound silence hangs in the air. For the citizens of this isolated nation, making an unauthorized international call is a transgression punishable by law. The very act of dialing an international number without express permission from the state is considered a grave offense. The consequences for violating this law are severe, ranging from lengthy prison sentences to, in some cases, even more dire repercussions. The government maintains a tight grip on all forms of communication, including phone lines, internet access, and postal services. The fear of being overheard or reported by neighbors and colleagues is palpable, creating an atmosphere of self-censorship and distrust. This isolation from the outside world is one of the defining characteristics of life in North Korea, a stark reminder of the government's absolute control over its people. Imagine a life confined to the boundaries of your own province, where even a simple journey to visit family in a neighboring town requires explicit permission from the authorities. This is the reality for the citizens of North Korea, where freedom of movement is severely restricted. To travel within the country, North Koreans must obtain special permits, a bureaucratic process that can be both time-consuming and costly. These permits are often granted selectively, with preference given to those deemed loyal to the state and its ideology. The government's tight control over internal movement serves multiple purposes. It helps to prevent the spread of information that could challenge the official narrative, limits exposure to outside influences, and makes it easier to monitor the activities of its citizens. For many, the dream of exploring their own country, let alone the world beyond its borders, remains just that, a distant and unattainable aspiration. In the world's most secretive state, the airwaves carry only the voice of the government. Independent media is non-existent in North Korea, replaced by a tightly controlled, state-run media apparatus that serves as the sole source of information for its citizens. Newspapers, television channels, and radio stations all operate under the direct supervision of the Workers' Party of Korea, the country's ruling party. Their content is carefully curated to promote the ideology of the state, glorify its leaders, and condemn any perceived enemies. Foreign broadcasts are strictly prohibited, and access to the internet, for the few who have it, is heavily censored. This information vacuum leaves North Koreans with a distorted view of the outside world, one shaped entirely by the narratives presented by the state. This control over the flow of information is a powerful tool for maintaining the status quo, ensuring that dissenting voices are silenced and alternative perspectives remain unheard. In North Korea, the only belief system permitted is devotion to the state and its leaders. Religious freedom, a fundamental human right cherished by many around the world, is virtually non-existent within the borders of this isolated nation. The government officially promotes atheism and actively discourages the practice of any religion. Religious institutions, if they exist at all, operate under strict state control, their activities closely monitored by the authorities. Possessing religious materials, such as Bibles or Korans, is considered a serious offense, often leading to imprisonment or worse. Those who dare to practice their faith in secret do so at great risk, facing persecution and social ostracism. By eliminating any competing ideologies or belief systems, the state aims to ensure unwavering loyalty to the regime. While the internet has connected billions of people worldwide, North Korea remains largely cut off from the global digital landscape. Access to the internet for the vast majority of citizens is non-existent, replaced by a tightly controlled intranet known as Kwangmyong. This domestic network, accessible only from within North Korea, offers a limited selection of state-approved websites, primarily focusing on government propaganda, domestic news, and educational materials. Access to foreign websites, social media platforms, and international news outlets is blocked. This digital isolation serves to keep the North Korean people in the dark about the outside world. limiting their exposure to alternative viewpoints and independent sources of information. In North Korea, the airwaves are devoid of the familiar melodies and cinematic stories that captivate audiences worldwide. The government enforces a strict ban on foreign movies, music, and television shows, deeming them a corrupting influence on its citizens. Possessing or distributing such materials is a serious offense, often leading to harsh punishments, including imprisonment. Instead, North Koreans are fed a steady diet of state-produced entertainment, carefully crafted to promote the regime's ideology and glorify its leaders. These films and songs often feature patriotic themes, extolling the virtues of hard work, self-reliance, and unwavering loyalty to the supreme leader. This cultural censorship deprives North Koreans of the opportunity to experience the diversity of human creativity and limits their understanding of the world beyond their borders. In the bustling streets and public squares of North Korea, a palpable sense of caution hangs in the air. The right to assemble freely, a cornerstone of democratic societies, is severely restricted in this tightly controlled nation. Public gatherings, even for seemingly innocuous purposes such as social events or cultural celebrations, require prior authorization from the authorities. Unsanctioned gatherings, particularly those deemed to have political undertones, are met with swift and often brutal repression. By limiting the ability of citizens to assemble freely, the regime aims to stifle any potential threats to its authority. This constant surveillance and restriction on public gatherings create an atmosphere of fear and self-censorship, discouraging citizens from expressing any form of dissent. In the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, silence is not just golden, it's the law. Criticism of the government or its leaders, even in private conversations, is an act of treason, punishable by severe consequences. The North Korean government maintains an iron grip on all forms of expression, from the media to everyday conversations. Citizens are expected to express unwavering loyalty to the Supreme Leader and the Workers' Party of Korea, both in public and in private. The intricate network of informants and the ever-present threat of surveillance ensure that any criticism, no matter how subtle, is swiftly reported to the authorities. This suppression of free speech is a fundamental violation of human rights and a stark reminder of the oppressive nature of the North Korean regime. These laws, as astonishing as they may seem to those of us living in free societies, are just a glimpse into the strict control over the lives of North Korean citizens. They paint a picture of a nation where every aspect of life, from the mundane to the profound, is dictated by the state. The human cost of this control is immeasurable. The stifling of creativity, the suppression of dissent, and the denial of basic freedoms that many of us take for granted. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening documentaries.